Hey everybody, Heather from Hooked on Pickin here. We've got a fun topic today, but first off, I just want to say a huge thank you to all my patrons that are regularly there every month supporting me so that I can continue to put out good content, entertaining content, and also very useful content. So also again, thank you to all of you who have subscribed to my channel. Without you guys, I wouldn't continue to be able to do this. And so thank you to all my subscribers. If you're not yet a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button, the notification bell, so you get notified every time I put a video out, which is actually every day. You get a fun video. And then a quick reminder, fire sale tomorrow at noon. We've got some really awesome clothes that will be available. And then we just unboxed this pallet. We might steal just one or two items out of there, which has got some really fun things in it. So and we've also got a lot of the knives that you guys have been enjoying buying. So we found a really good discounted wholesaler, and so we're able to pass those savings on to you. So we have lots of the knives that we had a few weeks ago, plus maybe, do we have some new ones? We've got a few new ones. So we're definitely going to have those available, so be at the ready to be purchasing those. And we do have multiples of those. So if you feel like you never get anything on the fire sale, don't worry, we will have multiples of items so that you can buy those. Next week, also, another announcement, you're going to get an extra unboxing next week. An extra unboxing. We have a different schedule next week, so we won't be going live on Thursday and Friday, but we will have an extra unboxing schedule for you guys to watch and some other fun videos that we decided to do to give you a little bit of the behind-the-scenes info. So, extra unboxing next week. So, Thursday and Friday next week, we will not be live, but we will definitely give you that extra unboxing. So today we're actually going to get some shout outs from you guys since you're on live, and then we'll be talking about turning your hobby or side hustle into a full-time business and what were the steps that took for us and what did that look like and what might it look like for you. So do we have some people on live that we can do some shout outs?
Yes, Carol's Cottage says,
hey, Carol.
Smiley face. Good morning, Carol.
Carol, you made me smile this morning.
Right. Ashley says, good morning.
Good morning.
Tammy says, good morning to all. Karen says, good morning. Carol Wicker says, good morning with a picture of a morning.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
That's amazing.
Word Vendor 1 says, morning. Hope all are well. Rodeo Thrift says, good afternoon from New York.
It is afternoon there, yes.
Margaret Hall says, good afternoon. Hope everyone is happy, healthy, and blessed.
Awesome.
So, yep, we'll caught up on questions.
Awesome, awesome. So today we're going to be talking about turning your hobby or side hustle into a full-time business. So here's a question for me to ask you guys. How many of you would say reselling for you is just a hobby? How many would you actually call it just a hobby?
Yep.
All right.
For a long time, it was I would say sort of a hobby for us, right?
It was a needed hobby.
Yep. I was going to auctions when our second child was born. We realized we didn't have a lot of money, so I went to auctions and I was buying things at the very end of the sale. Rivertown Auctions in Burlington, Iowa. They had this really neat setup. They had all these tables with all kinds of stuff on it. People would bring things. Later, I would bring stuff to sell at the auction. And you would go through the tables the first time and you would hold something up. And it would start at $2 every time you held it up. And then it could go up to 100 or 50
whatever,
or 15 or whatever. But if nobody held something up, it didn't get sold. And so the first round, you would hold something up. The second round, everything started at like $1. And then they would sell off the rest, and that's what I was doing. Well, and
it would sometimes be not just $1 for an item, but $1 for like this whole flat of silverware, this whole box of stuff,
the table or whatever. So I was doing that because I really didn't know what sold, what didn't sell. So the little money that we did have, I was using to buy this stuff.
Scoop up the leftovers, kind of.
And we started selling stuff on eBay and whatnot, and we could go out to eat with the money. We were able to buy some diapers. Mm-hmm. Definitely wouldn't have said it was a full-time income, but we were bringing in maybe $300-400 extra bucks a month which was very helpful to us.
So here's a question I have for you guys. You either call it your hobby, but what about just reselling, and anything you resell becomes your mad money? Like the I can spend it on anything money, like the let's go to the movies money, let's buy a new outfit money, I want a new pair of shoes money, but they're not really needs. They don't help you pay your bills. It's just, I do this on the side so that I can have extra spending cash, you know?
So people are answering your question there,
Okay.
Heather. It says a few extras there. Rodeo Thrift says, just the topic I needed. I want to quit my day job soon. My day job so bad. Laugh out loud. Fat Elvis Good says, boom.
Boom. Fat Elvis Goods.
Evelyn Miller says, good pickings. Word Vendor 1 says, me too, Rodeo Thrift. Maria says, good morning, Hooks family. Several saying good morning. Mary, hello from Benton, Arkansas. And good morning, congrats on the show. So excited to watch. Jana Hooks, hi, my favorite pickers. Fat Elvis Goods, hobby turning into a good business. So he has a hobby, but it's turning into a good business. Tammy says, it's a hobby for now, but I'm getting ready to retire, so I'm looking for full-time businesses to supplement my income. Word Vendor 1 says, not hobby, but soon to be a part-time job.
Yeah.
Bonnie says, good morning, finally caught you live from hot Arizona. Sunshine Badgemore says, good afternoon, everyone. Sharon says, so love your positive outlook. Let's see, Sunshine's Badges says, I started my eBay as a way to support our scouting group. I was in an inner city area and we used the money for camps, etc. for the kiddos.
Awesome.
Fat Elvis Good says, it's mad money I get to spend, no chance. It's all for my wife. Laugh out loud. Patsy says, hi. Nancy says, I learned a lot from you guys. Sunshine Badges says, since then our group has closed and I used the money to finish my Bachelor of Science and then my Bachelor of Education.
Nice.
Ann Cole says, yes, mad money.
Yes, mad money. So how did we go from basically what Paul just explained and being able to go out to eat occasionally, buy the extra bag of diapers, things like that? How did we take it from there and turn it into what you guys get to see today? Because you didn't see us 10 years ago, you know, when we were struggling and didn't know what we were doing and fumbling around and
there's still times we fumble around.
Oh yeah, we call ourselves
don't quite know what we're doing.
We call ourselves college educated idiots because we
exactly
both have a 4-year college degree, but sometimes it takes a few too many times for us to figure out, oh, we really shouldn't do it that way because it's not working. So anyway, so we still stumble and fall and make mistakes and have bad buys and things like that. So it all still happens, you know, it's kind of an ebb and flow, and you got to be always a learner in the liquidation business and reselling business. But do we have any more comments, or I'm going to jump right into the list?
Sunshine Badges says, now we're saving for a down payment for a house and for our adoption.
Awesome.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Awesome. All right. So I have 6 steps that kind of really jumped it to the next level for us. So number one, very important, make a separate bank account. So if you can keep your finances, your business finances, or even your reselling and buying finances separate from your personal account, it does not disappear into oblivion. Originally, when we first started, we just had one checking account, and so that's the one that we used, but it was really hard to track what money was the reselling money and what money was the actual money that we needed to pay bills with. And so having a separate bank account kind of makes you see, for one, the bank account grow, but it also shows you the bank account shrink when you make purchases. And so you can have a really, really fine-tuned needle on that to be able to understand where. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that, guys. We just buffered for a moment. Sometimes my phone likes to shut down.
So our first thing was you need a separate bank account.
Yes.
We used to, back in the day, we had a PayPal card. So when we would sell things on eBay, it would go into a PayPal account. But we weren't very careful with that, I would say. You know, if I were going to buy something to flip, I would use my PayPal card. But hey, we're going out to eat, I'd use my PayPal card. Hey, let's go see a movie, we use the PayPal card. So when she says separate bank accounts, you make a complete separate line. This is for business, and we don't use it for going out to the movies or going out to eat. It's completely separate. And I think you'll talk about how to make that completely separate, number 5. But that becomes very important. It really, really helped us.
Yeah, and it also helps with showing how much profit you're making, but also how low your account is getting if you're overspending. Because having a bank account, having a personal bank account that you purchase your items from, sometimes doesn't show you that you're actually taking a loss on your items. But if you have a totally separate account, then you can see the profits and losses very easily. If you have no money in your picking fund, then you can't go buy stuff. You need to sell what you have. And so that was one thing that became very apparent to us, because sometimes you can actually take your personal finances and you'll be cash flowing your business or your picking or your reselling business and not realizing you're actually taking money from your family rather than earning.
Hold on one second. They're saying it's buffering again. Guys, I'm not showing it buffering. I'm watching it here.
Yeah.
So
it may be just delayed comments, you think? Let me check it real fast.
It might be. We will double check for you.
You're frozen.
I'm frozen?
Yeah. Nope, no, you're good.
I'm good?
You're good. You were just very still.
I was just very still.
I thought you were frozen, but he was just very still. College-educated idiots, they're right there.
Getting a separate bank account isn't a difficult thing. We bank at one of the big banks, U.S. Bank. Heather used to work there as a teller.
Yep.
And you just go in and ask for a separate business checking account that is attached to a debit card, and that has worked beautiful for us. I'm sure there are other things that you can get to separate that way, but that was very simple to do.
We have just a regular sole proprietor one. You can get one for an LLC and all of that stuff, but there's, I think, a few more hoops to jump through with that one. You need, I think you need to have an LLC and things like that. And I think the minimum balance on it is a little different depending on the bank you bank at. So just go in, talk to them about it, say, hey, I run a little bit of a side business, and can I get a business checking account? So
it worked really great.
Yep. So having a separate bank account is really, really important, because profits and losses, and are you really making money? Okay. So number 2, you want to talk about number 2?
Number 2 is an exclusive space. Now, we built this building 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. It's a 720 square foot space. We started to realize how needed that was. But, of course, we didn't have the money to build this to begin with, so we used 200 square foot space in the back of our sunroom
We have this room off of our living room that is the sunroom. We'll have to take you on a tour of our house sometime. But anyway, it was half the kids' room, because there was a TV out there and they did their Minecrafting and all of that out there. And then the other half was my desk and a bunch of shelving units where I stored all the stuff. But it was literally only 200 square feet.
Right. Now, primarily when we had that smaller space, it was everything went to Amazon. When we got into Amazon, we had a few things that go into eBay, but most of it went to Amazon. We had a storage shed that we put a few things in eBay that it wasn't
climate controlled.
It wasn't climate controlled, and these were issues that weren't going to melt, so you couldn't do candles, you couldn't do chocolate, you couldn't do anything like that. And we always had to be careful of the dust, and you had to pre-package it and all kinds of stuff. So building this really helped us in a great way. The other thing about that exclusive space, I would say, and you might have been about to say it too, was because it was such a small space in our home, quite often Heather would set things out on our table.
Dining room table.
Yep. And many of you saw our original YouTube post where that's where they were.
We would unbox in the carport on cold and rainy days, and then we would also unbox on the dining room table. Well, the problem is we love to have people in our home. We love to host people. And anytime we hosted people, I couldn't just leave it there on the table and slowly pick my way through it and posting it. I'd have to throw it all back in the bulk box, bring it out to the separate room, and then when everybody went home, you know, the next day I'd have to get the box back out, lay everything back out again, and where was I in the posting process? And so literally I felt like I was doing the job 3 separate times, and so it was a time sucker for me. This building allows me to leave it a hot mess and walk away. Like this week, we actually unboxed this pallet.
Pallet's still sitting here.
Yep. We unboxed that pallet. It was actually all over all of the tables around us, and then we went home. And then the next day, we did the listing video. You'll notice that because I changed clothes. Also, it's still sitting here, but our house still looks nice. It's still clean. It looks nice. And we can have anybody over we want, and this mess can stay looking like the mess. And so that was a big deal for us because then it really was a time saver. So having an exclusive space that's not part of your regular home really helps because then you can leave everything the way it was, whether it's a spare bedroom or a section of your garage. It doesn't have to be what we have, but just keep that exclusively your space and try your best to not let it spill over into the other rooms in your house.
And we know of YouTubers and other resellers that have much larger spaces. We've got a really great couple down in New Baden, about 7 miles from us. Great reselling couple.
20,000 square feet, I think.
Yeah, he's got a 20,000 square foot warehouse, and then he's got a storefront that's probably.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know how many.
Probably the square footage of our house. It's probably about 2,800 square feet.
Yeah, it's fairly large for that too. So he's really set up well.
Also, with that exclusive space, if you have a small space, there are a lot of resellers I know that I've even had conversations with during the consultation calls that you guys rent a storage unit.
Yep.
But with that, that's overhead. It's cost every month to have to pay for that. So as long as you can pay that $30, $40, $60, $80 a month, then a storage unit might be the way to go.
Right, but remember, very rarely are they climate controlled, at least in our area. You can get some that are. Okay, Fat Elvis Goods, LLC says, are you selling more on eBay or Amazon?
We still sell more on Amazon. We still sell more on Amazon.
Very rarely do we sell on eBay now. Primarily because we have our own website, which we just make, I think it's
the fees
are 2% versus even 30% on eBay, or not eBay, 30% on Amazon sometimes. On eBay, the 15 to 20%, you just can't beat it if you sell it on your own site.
The other reason we don't sell as much on eBay is to be honest, don't focus a lot on eBay.
Right.
eBay is where we started for sure, so it definitely has a place in our heart.
Absolutely.
But we primarily focus on Mercari, Poshmark. Hooked on Pickin is our biggie that we focus posting things on. Anything that doesn't go to Amazon generally goes on Hooked on Pickin or a fire sale, which I basically equate to Hooked on Pickin because we're all invoiced through Hooked on Pickin.
Let's see. Benson says, hi guys, great job over the years. I am a fan.
Awesome.
Now if I need to buy from bulk from abroad, how do I go about it? My logistic guys are based out of New York to Kenya. You're going to have to contact Bulk directly. I am sure that they have brokers that would be able to set that up for you. Of course, that's not our issue.
Well, if you've got guys that are in New York, they're going to have to buy it and get it shipped, and then they'll have to ship it, set up shipping beyond that. Because as far as I know, Bulk still only ships statewide. They're not international.
I would just talk to the broker.
Yeah. Talk to
the broker.
Yep.
Sunshine Badges and More says, I closed the office door and all my stuff has to stay in my office.
Good job.
Good idea.
Good job. That's hard to do. It's hard to do.
Fat Elvis Good says, that is exactly how we started. Now we have a separate warehouse for our items.
Awesome. Good job.
Michelle says, I have an office in my apartment to keep it separate.
Awesome.
Good. Gio says, I have some capital and want to get some direction. How will be the best way to start my business on Facebook? Can you give me any ideas?
Well, we're going to talk about inventory sources here in just a minute, so that will hopefully give you some ideas.
You bet. Sunshine Badge says, I keep all my badges in labeled Ziploc bags and 5 large carts. The hardest thing is the other books, figurines, uniforms, and posters. Yep. That part I try and sell as fast as I can, says the woman who has 50-pound box of stuff sitting across the room from her. Fat Elvis Good says, how did you get your customer base on the website?
Our customers are totally 100% driven by YouTube.
Yes. Heather has tried to set it up with Google search.
Shopping. I actually do
Shopping.
have the Google Shopping set up now. So if you search something on my website and I have those particular tag words in it.
You finally got that to work?
Yeah, I finally got it to work.
Okay.
And so.
That's news to me.
Yeah. It was a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But anyway,
our analytics show us that we're having somewhere between 100 and 150 people a day go to Hooked on Pickin. So it's not huge, right? I talked to a few guys at ASD Market Week in Las Vegas when we were out there 2 years ago. And that's really what started giving us the idea of, man, we should do our own website, because that's what they were doing. They did it differently. They found one product that they just, boom, I want to sell this. And they would make a website just with that product and then pump it and advertise it like crazy on Facebook. And they had a few other ways. But so we got to going, hey, we could probably do something like that too. So let's see here. Karina says, I am a new Amazon reseller, not sure if FBA is a good way as a beginner. Also, how can I get unrestricted from the good Amazon categories?
Okay, so when it comes to Amazon and getting unrestricted, you basically have to buy direct from wholesaler or direct from manufacturer in order to be unrestricted in that particular category. You can always click the yellow request approval button, and sometimes based on your seller history, they may go, oh, you're a good seller. Yep, we're going to allow you to sell here, because your restrictions are usually set up when you first set up your account. And so if you have a good selling history, you can sometimes get automatically unrestricted in categories. There are other ones, though, that you do need an invoice from a direct manufacturer or a direct distributor, and that will not count if you're buying liquidation. You cannot get it unless you're buying direct from the people who make it. And there are some categories you'll never get unrestricted in, such as me with Melissa and Doug. They're exclusive. They have exclusive rights on Amazon, and there are lots of brands that do that. But it doesn't hurt to just hit that request approval button.
Right.
You'll either get congratulations, you can now sell, or you'll get, hey, we need this documentation. If you do buy direct from wholesaler, go ahead and submit those invoices and documentation. But if you buy from liquidation, those invoices don't count. So that's how you kind of do that. What was the other part of her question? Is it good to start Amazon FBA? Absolutely. It's a little bit of a learning curve the first few shipments you send in, but you will be pleasantly surprised how easily it is to list in comparison to any other platform. The biggest thing with Amazon, though, is you can't list everything on Amazon because of the restrictions. And we're actually going to go over that in a little bit.
Right.
So
let's see. Betty's Corner says, hi, is offering local pickups on eBay a good idea?
I have seen that, and to me, I would kind of equate it to Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
Like if you're willing to do that, especially for your larger items, or like maybe you've got a mirror or something like that you're like, no way do I want to try to even attempt to ship this, because you can lose a lot of money shipping a large item and having it break in shipment.
I don't know if we ever did that on eBay, but we do that quite often on Facebook.
Oh yeah, I sell a ton of stuff with local pickups on Facebook Marketplace, and there's various ways that you can do that. You can meet them in a Walmart parking lot. You can have them come to your location. It's totally what you feel is the most safe for you. That's the one caveat I would put on it.
I would really say that, Betty. Just really make sure that you're safe in doing that.
Have your, if you have a husband, have them do it.
We have not had an issue, right? We have not had an issue with any weird people.
No, we live in a kind of a rural area, so that makes a difference.
But there's strange, odd people everywhere.
There are strange, odd people, even in this town.
just be safe. I'd never want to hear that you got hurt for something like that.
So a lot of times when I do local pickups, I make sure that somebody is always home with me, and I let my whole family know, hey, there's so-and-so is going to come pick this up at such and such a time, just so they know that that's going to happen.
Savage Wolf says, how do you handle taxes? It's a great question.
Yes.
Great question.
So we are not tax professionals.
Yep.
But the one thing that I would say is if you have a reseller's license, you need to talk to your state tax person because it's different for each state.
Right.
I personally pay quarterly taxes because of the revenue that we have coming in.
Right.
If you have less or more, you might have to pay biannual, annually, or monthly. You know, it can change depending on your revenue stream. And then when it comes to end of the year taxes, just track all of your expenditures and your purchases and things like that. And then I would definitely talk to a CPA or an accountant.
We also use Shopify for Hooked on Pickin, and that has really helped us with that. They have a couple of just simple things to click to charge sales tax, which was very helpful because we were thinking, how in the world do we do it? And you know, it's easier than you would think. But somebody sat down and explained to you for 2 hours, and then you pretty much are rocking and rolling on it now.
Yeah.
Let's see. The Nice Reseller, how did you get viewers on YouTube? Jesus.
Yes.
Jesus sent them here.
Actually, it was Paul's idea. YouTube was totally Paul's idea. Even the name, I think, Hooked on Pickin came from Paul. And so we actually started doing the pallet unboxings and the case unboxings right around the time that the remember the little kids mystery boxes, and there were like billions of kids opening mystery boxes on YouTube? Well, we pretty much were like, well, our pallets are kind of like adult versions of mystery boxes. And so we pretty much just started opening those, and there was actually an interest. And then there was one video that went kind of bonkers. I think because I mispronounced a word, and so everybody commented that I mispronounced a word, and for whatever reason, it got lots of views. And so after that, then it seemed like I got a lot more subscribers, and it's been a slow trickle. I mean, we've had the channel for 4 or 5 years, and for probably the first 3 years, we were under 10,000 subscribers. And so it took a long time to really build the subscriber base, but the biggest reason why our subscriber base really started to grow was consistency. We would put a video out at random times, random weeks. There would be like one video this week, no videos next week, things like that. But really the reason why we started to really grow on our subscriber base was consistency in putting videos out on a regular basis all the time. So every time you put a video out, it notifies all your subscribers, it boosts your views. And so if you can stay consistent with it, and then also keep in touch with your subscriber base, put out videos they want to see. And the biggest thing with us too is we put out videos with stuff we're already doing. So we're not doing double work, because time is money in this business. And so being able to put out videos of things that we're already going to have to do, but we think you guys will find interesting, is also another thing as well. So
I've been waiting to say this. Satan, you just got blocked and reported. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome? Anyway, I just blocked Satan.
Oh, well, yeah. Well,
pretty cool, huh?
You said Jesus, that's why.
They'll know. Let's see.
The viewers.
Tracy says, are there hidden fees for FBA for ungating a product? Not really.
No, once you're ungated, you're ungated.
Yeah.
There's no harm to your account for you to attempt to request approval.
Right. Sunshine Badges says, I have done local eBay pickups when I started. Now I know all of the local collectors, and if they see something or that they're looking for, then they message me on Facebook.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah. So she's already got contacts built.
Yep.
So that's nice.
That is nice to have. Nancy says, do you have a reseller's license?
We do now, but just this year. We didn't have it before this year. So everything ran off a sole proprietor.
A lot of the liquidators now require to have a reseller's license, and then we were wanting to buy from wholesalers that we had met a few years back, and they all require a reseller's license. It was not hard for us to get that in the state of Illinois.
Not in our state. Yeah.
Anyway.
Because basically when you get a reseller's license, you're telling the state you're going to pay taxes, and for some reason, they're okay with that. They have no problem giving you a reseller's license.
Word Vendor 1 says, do you think you'll be able to handle your business blowing up for a while after the show premieres?
We
would love that to happen.
Hope so, yes. I think we'll be able to do it.
I don't know if it will. We've gone back and forth, right? You know, with the TV show coming out. Will it increase our business or will it not increase our business? I don't know. I mean, the stuff we send to Amazon, you don't even know if it's coming from us or anybody else.
I think it'll peak and then kind of dwindle, kind of like Storage Wars did.
Yeah, could be.
So we are talking about turning your hobby or side hustle into a full-time business. So for those of you who just jumped on, number one, we said separate bank account, keep your finances separate. Number two, have an exclusive space. And then we haven't done number three yet.
No, number three.
Number three is having reliable inventory sources. So from small to large, you could go to your closet, clean out your closet, and start reselling on Poshmark. So that's kind of starting slow. You can do thrift stores that you know kind of the circuit. We had a thrift store circuit. Paul still loves to do the thrift store circuit. We have auctions you can go to, and then you also have like Goodwill outlets you can go to, which is a little bit on the larger scale. But then, of course, what you're familiar with as much with us on our channel is liquidators. And I do have links down in the description for my multiple liquidators. I have promo codes for Via Trading and Honcho Wholesale where you can get money off. And so check those out if you're ever interested in buying from them. I also have done lots of unboxings from those companies. And so if you're curious, watch my unboxings so you can kind of get an idea. I actually have 2 Honcho Wholesale boxes en route. So hopefully you'll be seeing those in the future. I love their stuff. But having reliable inventory sources. And sometimes it just takes taking a risk on a new one. So we did a Quick Lots box and was very underwhelmed. Now, we didn't make money on that box because there were a couple of gems in there, but the amount of trash clothing-wise that was in that box really scared us from buying from them again. And the fact that it took about 3 to 4 weeks to even have the box arrive was a little bit frightening. That's not how we really like to do business. And so we kind of, well, you know, maybe if we get a wild hair, we might order from them again. But we continue to peruse their site from time to time. But having reliable inventory sources. And the awesome thing for you guys is there's ways to figure out, if I buy from this company, what can I get? Because there's tons of YouTubers doing unboxings from liquidation. And so if you're curious about Smartlots, Honcho Wholesale, 888 lots, Quick Lots, B-Stock, all of those things, you can see someone do an unboxing and see what they think about the items. And so that's one thing about having reliable inventory sources.
Yes. So think of it from small to larger. You go your own closet, which isn't a reliable inventory source because it will run out eventually unless you have a crazily large closet. So go from your closet, then go to thrift stores, then go to retail stores. Retail stores start to become replenishables. You can go, you can buy stuff even off the shelves at Walmart, flip it online.
We bought regular priced items.
Exactly. Sometimes you bundle it. Not necessarily the clearance aisle because you won't always be able to go back to them. Then you go to liquidation, then you go to wholesale, then ultimately
you make your own private
label product, which we've dabbled in a little bit, have not had great success, but we do think that's ultimately the way to go, to have your own product. But anyway, let's see here. Questions. Do you need a license to sell on eBay?
No.
No. Debbie says, do you have a monthly budget for expenses? Example, programs, materials, boxes. Can you share your monthly budget or about? Thank you for blocking Satan. You're welcome.
Okay, so we know we have regularly scheduled overhead for a lot of our subscriptions. So we know we pay our Amazon store fee, we pay our eBay store fee, we pay our Inventory Lab store fee, we pay our Shopify Hooked on Pickin store fee. And so those are expenditures that we have every month. We also pay payment on this building and then also our electric bill. And so we pay all of those, our regular, pretty much unchanging fees that we have every month. As far as boxes, it kind of ebbs and flows based on what we're shipping. And so I have got a reliable guy that I get it from the St. Louis Paper Company, all of the boxes. And the nice thing is he lives 9 miles from me. So instead of paying shipping, he throws it in the back of his car and delivers it.
Correct.
That's the awesomeness about living where we live and making contacts. Just like Sunshine Badges and more, making contacts is a big deal. And so, yeah, we buy, I'm really terrible. I track at the end of the year how much we spend in supplies, but I don't really have a monthly expenditure that I try to stay within just because when it comes to supplies, it's kind of an as needed basis for all of that. But our firm ones are all our subscriptions that we pay for every month. So,
Right.
and you don't have to pay for those. But my sound is on my phone. Hold on one sec.
It's like that was weird. Let's see. Patsy says, "Do you have a training package on selling on Amazon?"
No, I don't.
No.
Not yet, but I do. I don't have a training package for selling on Amazon, but I do consultation calls, and I can usually help most people with their Amazon questions that way. I would prefer to do that simply because Amazon literally, I feel like, changes daily.
Yeah.
So the minute I finish a training package, it would probably change. And so I have a lot of videos out there that if you do a consultation phone call with me, I give you a lot of how-to videos in a bulk download for you. Anybody who gets a consultation call gets that. And so they're walkthroughs on how to do your first listing and label it and package it and ship it off to the warehouse, things like that. So, but consultation calls are usually the way I go when it comes to Amazon selling, just because it's always changing all the time.
Yes.
So
let's see here. Sunshine Badger Moore says, "Got to run and do a Zoom tutor. I'll be back for this week's fire sale.
Awesome.
It was my birthday this week, so I'm ready to buy some presents for me."
Awesome.
The Nicety Seller says, "Do you guys have an LLC?" No, we don't have an LLC. We are a sole proprietorship currently.
Yep.
So, and you can check with your state depending on what you need, how all that goes. Let's
also,
see.
if you'd like to buy a coffee or a Coke, if you like this video, feel free to donate.
Yes. Ashley says, "Happy birthday." Sunshine Badger says, "Birthday." Savage Wolf says, "Do you have to pay income tax on selling your own stuff?" You have to pay taxes when you sell online.
Yes.
So let's say you create your own Shopify store and you sell your own sweater that you really enjoyed. Yes, you will have to pay taxes, and that varies from city and state and all kinds of fun stuff. Yep. Let's see.
Talk to a tax professional.
Oh yeah, yeah.
To be honest, we called our Illinois state tax person, our Illinois IRS person, and they broke
walked us through it beautifully. I know everybody's afraid of the IRS, but man, they
were super nice.
They were very helpful.
Yeah.
Very helpful to us, at least. Or maybe we got a great person. Let's see. Tracy says, "eBay gives you a reseller's number. Check your account." Sunshine Badges and Moore says, "Thank you, Ashley."
You'll also get a 1099 at the end of the year. And the thing to be aware of is, I don't know what the cap is in it. It was $20,000 in sales. That's not actual profit, but sales. And that also includes shipping. So be aware of that.
Yep.
At one time, that was a number. I don't know what the number is now, but
still
the 1099 does not get mailed to you. You actually have to go and hunt it down on the eBay website, the PayPal website, the Poshmark website, all of those things. So just be aware of that at the end of the year.
Yep.
You need to go hunting down your tax documents, because we got messed over one year because we made $500 over the limit.
Yep.
I think it was 2014, and we didn't realize it, so we didn't file for that. But the problem was eBay filed that we made that much money, and so we ended up having to pay back taxes like a couple years later when we got an alarming letter in the mail.
Exactly.
So yeah, so just be aware of that. You have to go and find all your tax documents.
Correct. Let's see.
All right, so we've talked about separate bank account, have an exclusive space, have a reliable inventory source, and then, are we ready for the next one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Number 4 is diversify your selling platforms. You cannot be a one-trick pony as a reseller. You have to make sure you spread it out, just because every platform ebbs and flows, okay? We've talked a little bit about Amazon and how you're restricted in specific categories. If you're a new seller, your restrictions are going to be much more than other people. Like, I can sell in automotive, not everybody can sell in automotive, things like that. And so, so just be aware that diversifying really, really helps, because there's going to be certain seasons where Poshmark is going to sell a ton of clothes. Anytime a season changes, we always sell a lot more clothes on Poshmark. But then Amazon might slow down in the summertime because people aren't perusing their phone in the cold winter months. Amazon blows up at Christmas time, starting kind of in October. But then other platforms will slow down, and Facebook pickups, they're not as frequent in the winter time, things like that. So diversify selling platforms. So some of the platforms that I sell on that I really like are Poshmark, Mercari, Hooked on Pickin, of course, it's my favorite, Amazon, eBay, and then of course Facebook Marketplace. And I know some people have mentioned Kidsin for kids' clothes.
There's a lot out there now.
There's there's some pickup ones.
Used to be eBay and Amazon. That was it, pretty much.
I used to do Craigslist, but that's kind of an antiquated beast now. It's Facebook Marketplace has pretty much taken the place of Craigslist.
It has in our life.
Let Go and Offer Up are a couple of other ones that I've heard about.
Yeah.
So just diversify your selling platforms because of the items you get, some things are going to sell better on different platforms.
There's also Etsy. You know, a lot of these different platforms have their own little niche, you know?
Yeah.
And it's crazy. You can do out of all these platforms, you could take the exact same item, put it across every single one of those platforms. And one platform, it may never sell. And another one, you might sell it every day of the week. You know, you just don't quite know. And you're looking at a little bit of different audiences every time. Different people like different things. So it's worth doing that. Beware of cross-posting. If you only have one of the items, say, oh, I'll put it on 5 different platforms. We did that a time or two and got...
It sold in the same day, and we didn't get a chance to unlist it, and so we had to cancel an order on one of the platforms, which can hurt your account if you do that too many times.
Right. So you don't want to necessarily do that, but let's say you have 10 of them, put 2 on this, 2 on this, 2 on this, 2 on, you know.
Yeah.
And that might keep that from being an issue in your life. Okay, let's see. Back to the questions. Tammy says, Heather, tell us about your consultation calls.
So the consultation calls, you can buy different times. You can buy 30 minutes, 60 minutes, or 90 minutes. I recommend less is more at the beginning, which is probably shooting myself in the foot because I give a lot of information out in one 30-minute phone call. Basically, it's you pay for the phone consultation at hookedonpickin.com. You pick your time, you make the payment, and then I will shoot you an email within that day usually and say, hey, what time is available for you? Let's set it up. And then you basically come to me with a list of questions. And a lot of times you come up with more questions as we're talking. But, you know, come with a notepad, come with a list of questions, and you pretty much give me like about a 5 to 10 second blurb on what you are as a reseller, and then I start answering every question that you have. So any question, concern, I'm honest with how it's gone for me. I will give you the truth. I don't lie about stuff. If it's hard work, I'll tell you it's hard work. But yeah, it's pretty much 30 minutes of you peppering me with questions and me being able to answer the questions. And I've even had people stop me on the phone. Oh, I already know how to do that. And then I am not offended. I want to give you the information you don't know, not the information you already do know.
Exactly.
So it's different for every person based on the knowledge that they have.
Deb Brick says, hello, joining up late. I will catch the first half on the repeat later.
Awesome.
Margaret Hall says, I have to sneak in and tell you guys we're going to be in Tennessee until Wednesday. We're heading up on Sunday.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Are we going to be there at the same time then?
Are you going to Gatlinburg, Margaret? Going to Gatlinburg?
Pigeon
we might
Forge?
see you.
Yeah.
Gio says, how long did it take you to go to full time?
Okay. Go ahead. You talked about that.
It took 2 years for Heather to finally go full-time. And I'm not technically considered full-time. I help Heather as much as I can, but I'm a full-time pastor. But it was 2 years from the time that she took over basically the reselling aspect of the hobby, if you will, that I was doing. And then I would say in the last 3 years, she started consistently making more and more money. And,
that I would consider income-wise full-time income.
Right. But I would say in a 2-year period of time, it really took for her to really crank it up that we could start saying, this is actually a business and not a hobby. And then in this last 3 years, I would consider her to be full-time. I would say that first, the 3rd year in, it was probably number-wise like a really good part-time job, money. But then the last 2 years, it's been a very good salary. This year, she's making more, about ready to double what she made last year, which is amazing to me.
Well, part of it is too, I mean, I put in the work. That's the biggest thing that really kind of shifted everything for us was, you know, all our kids were in school and I really took it serious and I actually put in the hours to make this actually work. And so we talked about number one, in turning your hobby side hustle into a full-time business. Separate your bank account, keep your finances separate. Number two, have an exclusive space that doesn't spill over into your home if possible. Number three, having reliable inventory sources all the way from your own closet to liquidator, wholesalers, private label. Number four, diversify your selling platforms, and I named a bunch that I sell on. And then number five, this is the biggie when you're talking about having a actual business income. Pay yourself, okay? So the one thing that's the hardest thing about this business is it's an ever-changing fluctuation in how much money do you earn. So how in the world do you pay yourself? And so we pay ourselves based on percentage of sales and percentage of net profits in specific categories. So we have a separate account. We know how much is available to pay us, but we can't take everything because you need money to buy more inventory. If you take everything, then you can't buy any more pallets or boxes or anything. In those first few years, it was, we're going to pay ourselves $10 a week, $20 a week, and then it turned into let's pay ourselves $100 a week, and then it turned into let's pay $400 a week, and now we've actually gotten into the thousands, and so per month, and so each month, yes, we make multiple thousands of dollars on our various different platforms that are diversified across. And so that's the biggest thing is as your business grows, you can adjust those percentages because initially in the startup, you're going to need to leave some money in the account to continue to buy. There were multiple months right at the beginning where we did not pay ourselves anything because we had to reinvest and reinvest and reinvest. And finally, we got to the point after about 6 months where we had big chunks of money that we could start buying in bulk, not just bulk pallets, but larger amounts at once, which brings our cost for each item down, which means all our profits go up. And so, you know, just kind of have a goal in mind of paying yourself, because if you don't pay yourself, you'll feel like you're running on the mouse wheel. You're spinning your wheels and getting nowhere. And so even if it's, I'm going to be able to take 10% of what I make on eBay this week, you know, that will give yourself a boost to keep you going for the next one, and treat yourself with that money that you get to pay yourself. It's your salary money. You get to spend it how you want.
Right. So one of the things that we have done, we look at this as irregular income. So Dave Ramsey, if you like his financial piece, worksheets and things, he has an irregular income worksheet, and you can get it free online, which kind of steps you through that. And
just Google Dave Ramsey PDF.
It's fantastic stuff, those worksheets and budget sheets and whatnot. So the irregular income worksheet is what we use, or what we work through. Now I don't even use the worksheet, I just do it on paper now. But that's very helpful. So what I do is still percentages. So 40% of whatever our Amazon disbursement is basically her income. On
and
just
the other
Amazon.
60 is let's purchase more
right.
stuff.
So I always try to funnel back. Same thing with Poshmark, I'll do that. I think Poshmark I'm 50%. So I have to have enough money to still go and buy more product, but now I go by those percentages. So if we have a good month, she makes more. If we have a bad month, she makes less.
And we track all of those numbers and compare them to the previous year.
Yeah.
And the previous month and all of that.
The worksheet that I've made is I have what we made last year sitting there and what we made this year, and then I track not just the totals of the month, but what did we make in Amazon, what did we make in YouTube, what did we make in eBay.
Each individual.
Yeah, each individual, to see, you know, are we making all of a sudden less on this? What's going on? Why are we making less on that? Just try to alert us.
We also keep notes too, you know, like if we're sending less into Amazon, we kind of keep notes of we're sending less into Amazon so that we see that ebb and flow.
Like even when the COVID hit, you know, I made mention, pandemic starts, you know, did our sales drop because of that? Have they gone up because of that? You know, what is happening? And we've seen fairly flat across the COVID. it hasn't slowed people buying from the websites that we have done. So anyway.
The other thing too with that on paying yourself is make sure that when you're tracking your money, I'm kind of going into the next, the one that we were going to talk about, tracking money. So I think I'm going to wait and talking about that. So do we have questions? And then I'll go on to the last
Let's
point.
see here. Eliana says, how do you decide what products to sell?
A lot of it is what can we find? Because we're in the nature of liquidation, we definitely stick to familiar items that we're accustomed to, such as clothing, because primarily we do sell a lot on Poshmark. We love houseware stuff. We typically sell the everyday use item.
Right.
People are always buying clothes. People are always buying health and beauty. People are always buying things for their home. People are always buying gadgets and things like that. So we try to stick to the everyday useful item. We occasionally find the unique item that's kind of a one-time buy, but a lot of times those are slower sellers. Like we've got these super unique cement candles on Hooked on Pickin that are discounted really low right now at Hooked on Pickin, and they're really cool looking, but not everybody wants to buy those kind of candles, you know, every time. And so so that's, we try to stick to the kind of everyday bread and butter type of items.
Sometimes it just comes down to what can I find.
Yes.
You know, when it comes to liquidators. Liz Moore says, my last day at work is Saturday. We'll be focusing on my eBay full time now.
Awesome. Go you, Liz. Don't get discouraged.
So I just became a top-rated seller and want to do gray old, Mercari, etc.
Nice.
Darren says, I like eBay as my favorite platform. You don't have to worry about as many intellectual property claims, and the fees are a lot less. That is very true.
That is true.
Very true. Savage Wolf says, does eBay limit a person just starting out as far as how much you can sell?
Yes.
Yes, they do, Savage
They do
Wolf.
now. 10 items, I think, and $2,500 in sales or something like that.
They have varied that from time to time. You'll have to Google it and hop on when you do. But Poshmark doesn't limit.
Yeah, I think someone's trying to call me again. Hold on.
Trying to call you? Poshmark doesn't limit. Mercari doesn't limit. So there's a lot of things that are a lot better. Heather's up and down a lot in this video.
I know, sorry. I usually have a watch on that I can shut my phone calls off when they come through on the phone, but it died today. My poor Fitbit gave it up.
We are way behind. So
Okay, sorry,
Rodeo Thrift says, have you ever thought of taking some of your inventory that you have multiples of and putting one or more of them on Hooked on Pickin, less fees, and you already have picks? Just thought that I had. Yes, Rodeo Thrift, we have done that multiple times.
Yep.
Nyla Kelly says, I'm not selling well on Poshmark. Haven't sold not one item. Mercari sales have slowed down to nothing. Personal website sold nothing. All items are new with tags. I am so discouraged.
Okay, Poshmark, share. Mercari, sometimes you have to promote items, but make sure that you're watching your news feed on both Poshmark and Mercari, and that you're sending offers and things like that to likers. And then
personal website is everything about traffic that I find.
How do you get traffic there? So if you have to post it on Facebook, try your social media. With all three of those platforms, you can post them on social media. And so that would be what I would suggest.
Also, Nyla, check your price. If it hasn't moved in a while, the market is saying
it's not good.
They don't want to buy it at that price.
Anytime you adjust prices, usually on Poshmark, it sends an alert to all of your previous likers. And so that's always a good rule of thumb is do some price adjusting and have a certain day of the week that you do that on your whole closet.
Okay, let's see. Karina says,
I also have a Poshmark ebook that kind of gives a lot of those tips and YouTube videos linked into that ebook.
Yes. Karina says, what is your opinion of Wholesale Ninja's liquidator? Haven't seen you more unboxings from that liquidator.
I think we did a Wholesale Ninjas way back in the day, but I really haven't bought from them, so I can't really speak to it.
Not recently.
Not recently.
Yeah, we got into buying other people. Honestly, I can't remember why we stopped buying from them.
Probably just busy with other liquidators, that's all. Maybe we'll look into it.
I think I found a better deal with some of the liquidators, so I need to probably check back at them. That's the thing with liquidation. There are so many. Way more. I know people are very concerned about, oh, when this TV show comes up, it's going to blow up the liquidation. There's far more liquidation than you know of.
Yeah.
And the warehouse tours I've done, Oh my goodness.
They're not going to run out of product.
No way.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me go on to this here. What happened here? Gina says, how much does a consultation call cost?
For 30 minutes, $35.
Margaret Hall says, yes, we will be in Pigeon Forge. I have family up there. Great. Might bump into each other, Margaret. Word Vendor 1 says, it just jumped. I think your creativity and diversity has driven your company. Just selling doesn't cut it. The mystery boxes, fire sale, etc. Absolutely.
Yeah, you always have to be ever-changing, that's for sure.
Ever-changing. It's a dance. Liz Moore says, Wholesale Ninja is awesome. Honcho too. Since I'm in California, I do a lot of via trading. Bulk has been a little questionable lately.
Well, Bulk now has a West Coast warehouse.
Yeah.
I just noticed that on their website.
Nyla Kelly says, I price items between $10 to $20, but still get no sales. I will try Amazon next. eBay, too risky for me. I will try bundling, but if it doesn't improve, guess this is not for me to do. Yeah, check, see, what are you selling? Everything has a market, you know?
Well, and the biggest thing too is what are you paying for the items too?
Right.
So it is a buy low, sell high kind of thing, you know? And so what are you paying for the items? Maybe where you're acquiring your items, you're having to put the price a little bit too high and you can't compete with those of us who get items for $2, $4, $6 a piece. So just look into that as well.
Very good. Gio, what will be the right amount of capital to start this business? Okay, Gio, are you ready? All the money that we had from my hobby of time is when I handed it over to Heather, I said, okay, we have $300 in PayPal is what I had. Mm-hmm. And I was used to, if I made a $20 purchase, that made me a little nervous because I was a thrifter and an auction guy, you know? And yeah, she took that 300, quickly turned it into what? Right around a 1,200, 1,500, and then walked into Walmart
and spent $1,000.
And I just about died.
We walked out with 3 carts and $1,000 worth of product, and he almost passed out because it pretty much depleted our picking fund. And then more than about 3 weeks later, we had about $3,500, I think.
Yeah, well, it was really amazing, a total blessing from the Lord for us too. The Walmart that, like, Heather didn't like the thrifting as much.
I like retail arbitrage better.
Yeah, she wanted to buy the brand new pristine box, you know, because you don't get claims on it, you don't get issues with it.
It's pretty
Somebody doesn't say, hey, it's broken, that kind of stuff. So we go to Walmart, and it was right after Christmas. Mm-hmm. And normally Walmart always overspends on toys, so then they're clearancing their toys. Well, what this particular Walmart close to us had is they had a changeover in their main manager. And what happened is the previous year, if you've ever noticed around Christmas, Walmart puts big trailers in the back. And normally they think it's what do they call it? Not overstock.
Layaway.
Layaway. It's supposed to be for layaway. Well, what the previous manager had done is they put a bunch of toys that they had overbought in the back of those trailers. The new manager did not realize what had happened until a year later. So when finally they investigate what's in the trailer, it was all toys from
the previous Christmas.
Yes.
And you couldn't find those toys.
The previous Christmas, and it was one of the years that a bunch of Star Wars movies was coming out, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And so what this manager did is they had to get it off the books. So they put it deep discount clearance on the clearance aisles.
And it was stuff you couldn't find anymore because it was a year old.
It was fantastic.
We pretty much filled 3 carts full and $1,000 later.
We went back there 3 or 4 different times. As soon as the money would roll in, we'd go back and buy more. So that was just amazing.
And that really kind of was the thing that kickstarted me, and then really kind of put Paul's trust in me because he was having palpitations the first time we made that purchase. And I was just like, don't worry, because see, we had scanned everything with our Amazon seller app. So I knew it was guaranteed money, had great sales ranks, all that. So it's not like we were buying blind. We had educated purchases, all of them.
Yeah, Renee says, I just got early retirement, so full time for resale now.
Awesome.
Dixie Girl 999 says, seems like buyers on Poshmark want everything for nothing.
Oh, I agree.
Everybody wants a good deal.
I agree.
Uncle Stumpy says, eBay started me with 10 items 45 days ago. I'm at 60 items. The increases come pretty quick. Received my first bulk box today. Can't wait to go through it. Jeanette says, how long did it take, do you feel, to get such a huge following for your entire business?
You just have to be consistent and put in the work. That's the big thing that you guys see us an hour or two a day. The biggest thing is you gotta put in the work. There are some weeks that I work 60 hours that week if I have the time. I do my best not to neglect my family, that's for sure. And we do fun stuff, but there are some weeks that you have to put in the work. Fire sale days, first fire sale, we were here till like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, invoicing and packaging.
Yep.
We've kind of streamlined that situation, so hopefully you're getting your invoices earlier each time. But yeah, you have to put in the work. It is hard work. There's a lot of times that you don't see the behind the scenes listing, packaging, shipping. We definitely keep our post office guy employed.
Oh, yeah. Let's see here. Jeanette says, oh, no. The Nicey Seller, congrats, Renee. Tracy is bundling lots better sellers than one item listing.
Yeah, for Poshmark. I mean, you have to remember,
seems...
every time you make a listing for Poshmark, that takes time, and every time you have to package that listing, that takes time. So if you want to bundle...
And the shares.
Yeah, and the shares. It's one more share. So if you want to bundle 3 of the exact same size leggings together for a higher price, that's a great idea.
Yep, we do that a lot.
Yeah, we do.
Alicia says, I love watching your channel. Darren says, no ASD show in August. It is a bummer. Hopefully they'll have one in March.
Yeah.
I'm hoping so. Deborah says, better late than never. Hi, my Hooks friends. she just hopped on.
Awesome.
Maria says, smart wife. My wife is a genius.
All right, so...
last one. Go for it.
All right. So number 1 was separate bank account, separate finances. Number 2, exclusive space. We're talking about turning your hobby or side hustle into a full-time business. Number 3, having reliable inventory sources. And I've got a bunch down in the description that I definitely agree with what I get from them. Number 4, diversify your selling platforms. Don't just sell on one selling platform. Number 5, paying yourself. And number 6, I kind of talked about it a little bit, is make sure you treat it like a business. So give yourself hours that you're going to actually work. Actually work the business. And then the biggest thing that has helped me is, we talked about it briefly in the previous one when we were talking about paying yourself, is track your money and give yourself monetary goals, and then also goals that are fun. That's something that really keeps me motivated. Your guys' feedback always keeps me motivated, but having goals of, this year we're going to pay for 25% of our vacation out of the business fund. This year we're going to do 3 trips to the movies that'll be exclusively paid from the paycheck from the business. And so giving yourself some fun goals, it may start as simple as, I'm going to have extra fancy coffee money, so I'm going to take my paycheck and be able to guilt-free buy some Starbucks and not feel like I'm robbing money from my family, things like that. So treat it like a business. Track your money, track your expenditures, track your sales, and that will really, really help. And the biggest thing is, you've got to put the hours of work in, okay? It basically becomes less of a hobby and more of a job when you actually work it. Mm-hmm. So that would be my advice. So basically changing it from a hobby side hustle to a full-time business. Those are the steps that were big turning points for us. I mean, obviously it gradually grew over years. Don't expect it to change right away, but hopefully watching this video, it'll kind of fast track you to get to that state.
Very good. Darren Adams donated $2.
Thanks, Darren.
Thank you, Darren.
I'm going to buy me another coffee.
Buy her coffee. Let's see, several things here.
Okay.
Word Vendor 1 says, I had a photography business once, but I wasn't a business type. I've sold on Mercari and have great ratings, but can you give me a few solid suggestions to be a good business person? So I'd say these 6 things.
These 6 things, or if you want any more advice, sign up for a consultation call. I'd be glad to chat with you. It doesn't have to be exclusively reselling. It can be, business type. What did you do to organize this or that?
Let's see. A few people having a conversations there. Geo says, what's the difference in buying by the pallet truckloads? Okay. I don't buy truckloads because I don't have the space for the truckloads.
But we have a friend who does.
We have a friend that does. Quite often he will buy a truckload. He's even offered to buy a truckload for me, which is fantastic. It's the shipping cost. So if I buy one pallet from bulk.com right now, from where I'm at, it's $212 to get it shipped to me. So of course that has to be averaged across the items that are in there. If I buy 3 pallets, it goes down to about 140, 130. So you can see right there what starts to happen. Buy a truckload.
It's even less.
It can be incredibly less. You might pay $700 for the truck or even $1,200 for the truck, but if it's got 30 pallets on it, do the math, man. I mean, it's so much better, but you've got to have the space, and you better have a plan when 30 pallets show up.
Yeah,
you really need to have
and also there's extra fees if you have if you don't have a dock door, if you don't have a forklift. Like he has a forklift, he has a dock door, and so
we don't have any of that. We're residential. We need a lift gate.
Yep.
You know, all these things add up after a while. Let's see here. Fat Elvis Goods. When did you realize this could really be a business for you?
I think when I made that $1,000 purchase from Walmart, and then we started seeing the money roll in pretty fast, because most of that sold on Amazon because it was all in pristine condition. I think that's when he realized it could be a business. I knew it could be a business, and I just knew it needed basically work was needed, like just put in the hard work. And I saw the numbers before the sales happened, you know, but once the sales started rolling in for him, he was like, oh my goodness, this could actually work.
Number 3 that we talked about, having reliable inventory sources. When we started to figure that out, it's like light bulbs came on and went, we could consistently do this and consistently make money, you know, because when you're just doing thrifting,
it's sporadic.
Yeah, because you could walk into that Goodwill and find great stuff that one week, walk out, come back the next week, hoping to get that good stuff and find nothing that you want to resell.
Right.
And you're like, whoa, you can't be consistent at this.
Right.
You know, so let's see here. Deborah, remember when you get what you get what you give. Okay. Lena says, thank you for all your advices. We all know you at the end wins. Yes, Jesus wins. Yes. Yes. Let's see. Jeanette says, is Inventory Lab worth paying for it?
Depending on how much you list on Amazon, I mean, it is a monthly subscription, and so you kind of have to take that into consideration with overhead, but the speed in which I'm able to list on Amazon and also track where did I get this one item, that really helps me, because sometimes I can't remember, I got this from which liquidator, you know, and then I can go back to that liquidator, see if they still have it, or go back to that wholesaler and see if they still have that product, and it reminds me, and I can able to track the sales on Amazon only. So Inventory Lab is for Amazon only, but it helps me to track the stuff that I send to Amazon, and also the ease in listing, because it prints the label immediately. If you've ever seen me list any of the listing videos, I put it in and it prints however many labels I say I have. So
looking for deals, just donated $5.
Thanks so much, Looking for Deals.
Thanks for all the tips.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for questions because we have to hop off here.
Yep. For some reason, we have to work.
I know.
We have another pallet, actually. We got this one done. We have another one to do. Right. So
Marie says, looking to buy my first case. Bulk was asking if I had a reseller certificate. Do I actually need one?
No, you just have to pay taxes is the deal.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a reseller certificate, you have to pay taxes.
Unless they're changing something that I didn't know.
Yeah.
Fat Elvis Good says, how do you track items you sell on Posh and Mercari?
We manually track them.
Yeah.
So Excel spreadsheet, handwritten, you know.
I made a little something of my own creation.
Yep.
It's nothing fancy. Sandra says, thank you for the coffee cup. That was a very nice surprise.
Yes. Yeah. If you spend a lot of money on our fire sales, usually you'll end up with a hooked on Pickin surprise in your box.
The person that buys the most, we always send them something.
Yeah. So just as a reminder, a big thank you to my patrons and subscribers. You guys are always so faithful, and I love your comments, and I love being able to see your comments. I do read all of the comments, the positive and the negative ones, because it definitely helps me learn. Fire sale tomorrow, noon Central Standard Time, which is about what time it is now. So this time tomorrow, the fire sale will be here. If you've never attended one of our fire sales, come and just watch. If you want to buy, you can buy. I explain how to do that during the fire sale. And hopefully turning your hobby into a side hustle, into a full-time business will be something that will be in your guys' future if it's something you want to do. And I hope all this information has been super helpful. And just a reminder, next week we are not having a live Q&A or a fire sale. We have a different schedule next week, but you will get an extra unboxing. So hopefully that will be fun for you. And of course, remember in the end, Jesus wins.